Thank you for joining us on Worldwide Slot Car Chat on Zoom number 75. I'm your host, Greg Gaub. Pretty much the gang is all here again today. We got John, Don, Frank, Gaza, Leo, Jeremy, Wayne, Dennis, Jim, John, Lance, another John, Big Den, Dewan, Garth, Neil, Mike, Phil, and other people. As usual, we'll start with some show and tell, and I believe John Kitt has already said he's got some show and tell to show and tell. Take it away, John Kitt.
Well, thank you. Sorry, I was just admitting people. We still got more. Chris is here.
I can admit people too. You do your show and tell. I'll admit.
Okay, I'm sorry. I couldn't. Okay, so here, I was saying earlier that we have sort of a crossover programming here between my fledgling channel in comparison to this wonderful channel, and of course, here it is. If you watched my latest posting, we were looking at the 935 project, and there's some more progress on the project. So we've, of course, last time we looked, we fused the, I guess, the two cars together, for lack of a better description, but I also added the proper rear wing from the model kit, and it fit really, really well. I also thought I would put some real screen in the front. That's actually really fine copper mesh, and that'll actually cast really quite nicely, I think.
Cool.
So just like the actual car, and there's what the wing looks like from above. It just fits perfectly.
Nice.
And just like the real car, there's a gap here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they put some sort of like they actually have some sort of straight piece of aluminum or something. So I thought, okay, that looks pretty good. And that's exactly the way it's supposed to fit. I found a couple of photos of the rear, and the rear wing goes right to flush to the bumper. So that fit actually quite well. It's fairly square. So I thought, okay, I'll just fill in that gap just to see how things are going. And that's exactly how it looks on the actual car. It's just like filled in.
Looking good.
And that's actually automotive body filler.
There you go, Bondo.
So it should survive at least one casting. And here's a question I have for everyone involved in this group build. If you look at the rear wing, the way it is now, I can build it with the rear wing, but it really will sort of make the parting line a bit odd. So what I was proposing was to leave the rear wing like this, and then cast a piece that goes across for gluing on, if that's okay.
I don't see any reason why not.
Yeah, well, I have this.
I would think that would be preferable.
Sorry, say again?
I think that would be preferable.
Okay.
Well, Chris is doing the paint. Does it matter to you, Chris?
Yeah, I do a separate piece, John.
Okay, you got it. You got it. Yeah.
And if you want to leave the screen out of the front, I'll put a mesh screen in as opposed to something that's molded in. It'll look a lot nicer than.
Oh,
Okay.
hang on. Let me go back to that. Excuse me. Yeah, let me go back. So, okay, I glued that in.
Just leave that out, and I'll put some mesh in and back it up with some 5,000 styrene or something. It'll look gorgeous.
Okay, brilliant. No problem. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can pop that out. No problem. Cool. Hold on. Let me just go. And then, of course, let me just progress here quickly. Sorry for the whiplash. And then I also did a little bit of work on the Porsche RSK and started shaving down the fender. So that's kind of the next sort of project. But it's starting to really, really come together.
Yep. Real good job, John.
Well, thank you. And I do have some other things if anyone is interested.
Keep it going.
Keep it going. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the other project that we've been working on, or I've been working on here, is the Chaparral 2G, which was very kindly sent by Frank and Dennis. That's right. Yes, absolutely. So let me share screen. Of course, if you watched, of course, Frank, I know you did watch. Dennis, I don't know. I don't think he watches my stuff. But if you did watch, you can see, yeah, it's a really nice body. There are some really, really thin areas though. This is why I took this. If you take a look here, I filled this in, and you can see that on the video on my channel. me actually doing this with glue underneath, but there was a wee bit of a crack here. It was so thin. So I filled this in from the underside with CA glue, and I'm building it up slowly. But the front, I mean, it trimmed really, really well, folks. Like, take a look at that undercut here. Oh, it's beautiful. And and again, if you watched my little episode, it's actually really close to 1/32 scale. Like, I mean, I love what Slaughter did with their 2E, and Frank, you sent me those pictures of Racer, but they are a wee bit large. This is, I think, really close to scale.
That's looking really good. I haven't had a chance to watch your channel, so I apologize in advance.
Oh, no problem. No, but you can, and you'll see, Dennis, this is sort of a little bit of a before. There were some really thin areas.
Yeah.
And all I did was, just so you don't lose the integrity, I just like hit it with some CA glue just to make sure that nothing came apart. Yeah,
No problem.
right. And then I carved out the the slush cast thing. Yeah. So it's
John did a really good job of that model.
Oh, did he ever?
John
Oh, yeah.
You know, he's a craftsman of some note.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And again, you can see where this is where I filled it in already. That's the gloop there of some CA.
And you're going to do a 2-part of that. Once you finish fixing it up, you're going to do a 2-part.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to clean up the inside even more, but I just wanted to make sure that before I started cleaning up, I didn't break anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's yeah. Not that I have a tendency to do that or anything.
Live and learn.
I watched John's post today, and he did a phenomenal promotion of the worldwide chat. I mean, my goodness, the whole thing was all on getting people to sign into the worldwide chat.
Well, that's one thing that Greg hasn't got time. Thank you. That's one thing Greg hasn't got time for, is a clip show. So I thought, what the heck?
When I was watching that, the whole time I'm thinking, how did he find all these clips? And then I realized he's got that eidetic mind of his. You know, he can basically just recall any specific instance of anything and know exactly where to find it. But I'm like, I had no idea this all started back on at 33, chat number 33, and then all the other ones. And I'm like, okay, that was really fun for me to watch. Speaking of cross promotion, please put your channel link or that video link in the chat, so I don't forget to put it in the video description so that people can go.
This is like the slot car equivalent of Fun with Flags with Sheldon Cooper. So I'm just gonna for the scenery stuff. I was talking about, everybody has bought these the Kinemat or Kinestar VWs. They're just awesome. They're like right around the track. So I thought, okay, I'll tear one apart and make it into a TV truck. But since you know, Frank Peters' scenery piece has really sort of pushed the bar up. So I thought, okay, well, let's first start weathering it. And then, just sorry about this, and then take it apart. And there's really not much to them, which is really great. So you can do a lot with it. So I thought, well, a TV truck would have monitors in the back. So I thought I would basically build some monitors for the back and describe them. And again, because they're from the 60s, they don't have to look that great. And of course, you know, they got the handles because they were kind of rack mounted. Made them out of just like some brass that's sort of kicking around. And I wanted them also to light up, believe it or not. So I tried LEDs, and the LEDs were too bright.
Yep.
So I got grain of wheat bulbs, you know, the kind that they used to put in old electric cars that really look terrible, but they sucked a lot of power. Oh, there's where the monitors will go in the back. And painted them. And then actually took some screenshots and reduced them down to the actual screen size. You'll see it in a minute. And of course in black and white. So those are the grain of wheat bulbs that I used, waiting to be wired up. And there's a test fit just to see how it would work. And I don't know if you can see that, but that's Jim Clark at Spa, since we have Spa. Hang on, let me just. And that is a test pattern. So that's. Now what's really cool is when I put some power in, they actually lit up.
That's awesome.
But and thankfully it actually looks better once you put the truck back together. So there is, oh, this I found online. Apparently it's like the national Belgian television station. Correct me if I'm wrong, folks, if you know. I put that on the side of the truck, and therein lies the monitor. And there it is lit up. So you can see. So you can actually, like, you can actually see the car. It's really kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome.
You know, but so that's, whoops, that's it. Oh, and there's one more. The one thing I didn't have around our track actually is, and I know you guys have them. A lot of folks have these around your tracks. Is garbage cans. So I thought my daughter cast up some barrels up for me. And again, if anybody wants or needs these, let me know. Let me just share this, and then then I will stop taking over the entire show here. There we go. So there's like dented cans and new cans, and they have tops or without tops, whatever you want. And they're hollow. They're very light. And they're basically repops of the Tamiya 1/35th scale fuel barrels.
Yeah, 44 gallons.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna.
To say Seneca.
What's that? Sorry.
Greg wants them to say Seneca and be blue and yellow.
Oh yeah. We can do blue and yellow Seneca. Yeah. Oh, wouldn't that look good with the Porsche?
And weathered.
Yeah. Oh, weather. Well, yeah. These are really easy to weather because it's like they've been beaten up a wee bit.
Yep.
There you go. Oh, Sunoco. That's a great idea. So there you go. I will stop sharing, and thank you all for watching.
Awesome. Good stuff. So thanks to John for sharing that awesome progress on his projects. If anybody has any other show and tell they want to share, use the electronic raise hand feature. Remember to hit reactions and then hit raise hand. I'm going to talk about
Look at it here. He's got it.
I'm going to talk about my tell here. Don't make me mute you guys. I'm going to talk about my tell. I don't have a show, but regarding my tire raiser sanding plate reciprocation machine that was a remix of the one that OxoCube, aka Kev, designed for his Professor Motor, I think it was, machine that's similar to a tire raiser. He shared his design. I remixed it and got it to work with an actual tire raiser. I took one to my friends on Monday for the race and tested it on his machine, which was a later generation, later production version of the tire raiser, and pretty much worked. There were a couple of very small changes to be made, so I made those changes and already have uploaded those changes to the Thingiverse thing where those changes are downloadable. So if you already downloaded the previous version, go back and download the changes were made to the base piece to make room for the foot, because apparently where my little squishy foot was stuck was different. I mean, they're just stuck on, so that kind of makes sense. So I made a little bit more room for the little stuck on squishy feet. And the later versions of the tire raiser came with a sanding plate that was a little bit shorter. So it had less plate where there was no sandpaper. So I added a longer arm so that it would move the plate in the correct position, because otherwise it was way over to the side. And then uploaded, new models of things that were changed and yada, yada, yada. Which brings me to what I want to do, and that is give away one of the tire raiser reciprocation machines. So to enter this contest, you must have a tire raiser. That's going to be the hardest part. So obviously the machine would do you no good without an actual tire raiser. So to participate or to enter this contest, you must send a photograph of your tire raiser. Thank you, Frank. You've proven you have a tire raiser. Now to enter properly, you need to send a photograph via email to my email address, which is ggaub@ggaub.com. I'll put it in the description of this video. So that's it. Just send a picture of your tire raiser for two purposes: to confirm you do in fact have a tire raiser and not some other machine, and for me to confirm which version of the tire raiser you have to make sure that you get an appropriately configured machine. So make sure your sanding plate is on your tire raiser when you take a picture of it and send that to me. And I will pick a winner. We'll close the contest in a couple weeks. So you got plenty of time to acquire a tire raiser if you don't already have one, and then take a picture and send it to me via email. So again, picture of your tire raiser to my email at ggaub@ggaub.com. And in a couple weeks, we'll do a live randomization of the entries, and then I will ship out a tire raiser sanding plate reciprocation machine to you. This is worldwide. Yes, worldwide. I do have another thing to talk about that Wayne will be interested in, but we'll talk about that in a little while. So the first person on my hands up screen is Dawn. What you got for us, Dawn?
Little toy I acquired here this last week.
Ooh, is that a fly or is that, what is that?
It's a polysil.
Oh, polystyrene, okay. Classic.
Yeah,
Wow.
they were also remarketed by Strombecker, were they not, for a while?
Well, it was advertised as a Strombecker polystyrene, but all it says on it anywhere is polystyrene.
Has that ever been on a track?
Nope, I got it in the original box.
Wow.
And I'm the one that opened it.
Nice.
You got vintage tape with it too.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's cello tape.
So that's my show and tell.
Very cool, Don. Let us know if you ever stick that on a track, how it goes.
It doesn't run worth a crap.
I would think so, but you never know. They are fun in the way, and it's like a blast from the past kind of fun, way to put them on your track and see what happens kind of thing. I've got some old cars. I don't think they're going to be competitive, but it's still fun to stick them on the track and hold the trigger while they spin the tires.
I put it on the track.
Yeah.
And it's very slow.
Yeah.
And it can't handle the corners.
No. Well, it looks fantastic, and isn't it a wonderful thing to get something that old but new and be the one? It's like being a kid again, basically, just opening that thing up for the first time. That's super cool. Thanks for sharing that, Don. Mike is the next on my list. What you got there, Michael?
Oh, let's see. I've got the new Dodge.
Is that Pioneer or Carrera?
Nope, that's a Carrera.
Okay.
And another addition to the stock cars.
Mm-hmm. They make a nice car.
Yeah, they're really nice. They have to be extensively modified to run. And then the third thing I've got is I picked up one of these. Oops, there we go. Lancia C2. I like the front end on this one better than my other one.
Yeah.
There's two versions of the slotted C2.
Have you seen Jim's video? I think he posted just about a month ago a slotted Group C setup video on his North Cal slot car racing scene.
I've seen most of the other one, but I haven't seen the Lancia one.
Yeah.
So no, not yet.
Good basics video. I just watched it today. So, those out there who don't know how to tune up a slotted Group C, hit up Jim's NorCal slot car scenes video channel. Feel free to.
That had the Group C and the Group 5 back to back.
Oh, did you? Oh, I'll have to go check that one out too.
It was both Lancia, the Group 5 and the Group C.
Nice. It popped up in the YouTube algorithm suggested it to me because I only recently subscribed to your channel, so now it's popping up old videos, and I just caught that one today. So I'll go check out that Sideways one for sure. You're next on my list, Jim. What do you got for us today?
Let me get the screen. It says disabled screen sharing.
Yeah, hold on. I always forget. There we go.
And what I've got today is something that I think would be of interest to everybody, but not so much to read. I've been doing a lot of work with Victory Lane Magazine, and Victory Lane Magazine does vintage and historic racings. And let me preface this. Obviously, this is a promotion for Victory Lane, but it's a free magazine. When the pandemic hit, they decided to quit printing $20,000 worth of issues every month. It was cheaper just to let everybody have it free than have people pay for subscriptions. So it's kind of somewhat self-promoting, but there's no money involved in it.
Yeah, even if there is, promote away.
I did get kicked off of Home Racing World because I put this up, and I guess he thought it was self-promotion, so he took it down. But anyway, I've been doing photography for them for quite a few years now. These are 2 covers that I've had this year. But what kind of pertains to what we talk about here is they finally let me do a column on miniature auto racing. And
cool. So, well done. That's awesome.
The reason I say it's not going to be really beneficial to people here is that I can't go in depth. It's not going to be product reviews. It's not going to be how-tos. It's going to try to introduce people to the hobby. And so it's just, real basic, if you want to call it entry level, about miniature auto racing. The first column, which is up now, is about the cars that were at the Monterey Historic Reunion that are also available at Scale Electrics cars.
Perfect.
So it's just a fun thing that I've wanted to do forever. I wish I got paid for it because this magazine is kind of a labor of love for not only the publisher, but the people that contribute. We don't get paid. The owner, like I say, he kind of does it for a labor of love. He owns a Formula One car. He owns a Lotus 11. He owns a lot of stuff. So he's not hurting for money, but the magazine is kind of a labor of love.
I mean, pretty much anything slot car related tends to be
pretty much. Yeah. So you can go online. If you go on victorylane.com, you can read the issue online, or you can download it and read it at your leisure. Or if you're crazy enough to print 60 color pages, you can do that. But that's it. It's just, it's a fun thing. It's a great magazine if you like vintage racing, because they cover pretty much every vintage race in the country on a monthly basis. So the issue that's out now not only has my column, but it's got the coverage, which I have a lot of pictures in from the Monterey Historic Races, which is typically the biggest historic race of the year. So
I'm looking forward to reading it. Even if it's an intro to slot car racing, it's kind of nice to get that perspective of what a new user would be seeing. And I look forward to more things like that, so that because we already know those people are interested in motorsport, get them
cross-platform. I tried to talk him in it. I was able to talk him in. We can bring more people to you, and you can bring more people to us.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's a win-win for everybody, and it's fun for me.
Well, there's nothing more vintage racing than slot car racing.
Well, the next column is going to be about the Frey and Ferndale, which is vintage racing. Those are cars out of the 60s. I talked about HO a little bit last week, and I know there's not a lot of HO people here, but unfortunately the Frey and Ferndale has been canceled for 2022 already. It's in a public location, and that location, it's in a county fairgrounds, and they can't guarantee that building come March. So this will be the second year in a row that it's been canceled. Last calendar year, we were very fortunate because it's in March, and it was right before COVID. If it was 2 weeks later, it would have been the third year in a row we missed it. So we were very fortunate time-wise to do that. But yeah, unfortunately, that race has been canceled. But that's my next column about actual vintage cars that are raced in miniature.
Well, and Jim, to your point, I don't know of a racer who didn't start racing with slot cars.
Yeah. Well, one of the columns, one of the ideas I have for a column, and the guy hasn't called me back. If anybody knows the people at Slot Mods, I would love to talk to him. I called him today. Nobody answered, and they haven't returned a call. But I would love to do an article on them. And a couple of their customers are Bobby Rahal, Zach Brown. And I talked to, if anybody reads Racer Magazine, Paul Fanner is one of the principals in that. I spoke with him in Monterey for quite a while. He said, Bobby Rahal and Graham Rahal are huge slot car fans. And
and to your point, if they don't get in contact, there's a plethora of stuff online. I'm sure you could leverage everything from, Lewis Hamilton when he was with McLaren racing against Jenson Button on a slot car track, and him talking about how he used to put cellophane on his tires so that they would simulate a wet race.
Sounds, yeah.
There are pictures of Senna racing in Brazil. I have photographs of Gilles Villeneuve racing a Strombecker set in Montreal in 1979.
Yeah, I think we talked about that a little last week. That Ford/Aurora promotion that ran for 4 or 5 years in the 60s. That ran on national TV. It's not possible to do that now because we don't have the, Scale Electrics is not going to sell 1 million cars.
No, but you can do it. It's called YouTube.
Yeah.
Sure.
Can you imagine to try and do what we were doing in 1966 at the height of the hobby? We'd be bankrupt.
Yeah. So,
Jim, what did you say the guy's name was? The owner of Victory Lane?
Dan. I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, okay.
His first name is Dan.
Hey, Jim.
I'm sure if you go to victorylane.com and look at the about and contact us and whatnot, it's listed in
I
there.
got so many Dans in the HO world that I'm just drawing a blank right now. But
Well, I mean, the last conversation I had with a racer, you've heard of Ron Fellows, won the Daytona. Okay, so he signed my Corvette. Here, it's right here. Hang on. He signed my Corvette, Fly Corvette for me.
I have, yeah, because I think Dennis remembers we had that, or not we, but I attended that race at the Peterson Museum about 10 years ago, and I got to run with Vic Elford. So I have an autographed Chaparral.
Yeah, I have one. I have a 2J that he autographed for me, and then I have I think 2 cars that Tony Adamowicz autographed for me the same day.
But the cool thing is when you talk to these guys, like Ron looked at that and went, "That's the smallest diecast I've ever seen." I said, "No, Ron, it's a slot car." And he looked at me like I was selling him drugs, and he went, "People still do that?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Ron, it's a bit of a moped hobby." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "It was a lot of fun to do, but you may not want your friends to see you while you're doing it, but it's a heck of a lot of fun."
Jeremy, you had a question for Jim?
No, I was gonna say, Jim, Adam Carolla owns the Paul Newman race cars, and he's in Southern California. I was on his show a couple of weeks ago and told him about slot cars because he on a few of his shows he'd mentioned he loved slot cars when they were younger, and now he's going to build his son a track. But I don't know how close to Southern California you are, but that might be a way for you to get 2 articles in one.
Yeah, I'll look at. Thank you. I'll look into that. He's about close to 400 miles from me, but
then never mind.
I penciled in a race in the Southern California series at Electric Dreams on November 6th, I believe it is.
There you go.
So I'm going to try to make it down there for that because those 2 classes that they're running that I run quite a bit. And I'd like to do a video in and around Electric Dreams too.
Look forward to that project then. All right. Thank you, Jim. And next on my screen is Dewan. What do you got to share today, Dewan? He was ready to go. Love it.
Finally. Okay. I am showing a layout application, and it's designed for this very cryptic old vintage track called Revell. And it is really great. It does your inventory and everything. I've used Ultimate Racer 3. I've used a couple others and things like that. But I really am fond of the functionality that I got out of this. And if I could, let me go back to, I want to share the next screen. I got to get back to my screen to do that. Oh, how do I stop sharing?
Should be a stop share button.
I got to glare my, there it is, new share. And let's go to, this is my layout here of my infamous track.
Go.
And It shows everything that I wanted. I've actually laid this out in 4 different applications and everything, but this is very, very seamless. And it tells me all the information that I need, you know, the track pieces that it needs. And then I've made all the corrections that I found out. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because about a month ago, I invited to our chat Mr. Chuck, and I don't know if I can pronounce your last name properly.
Gibke, he's on.
Gibke, yes, I know he's on.
Okay.
He actually
Gibke.
I did this because he's actually on. I mean, he developed this this application, and that's how we met.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
he was in one of a chat group of one of the forums, and offered it up as a freebie for people that did Ravel, and I dove 2 feet into that. And anyway, so I invited him to our group, and so 3 or 4 weeks ago he joined our group. But he hasn't given an intro, but I want to at least let people know some of the things that he's been able to do, and it's got a lot of potential, in my opinion.
Well, absolutely. Dewan, I'm looking at the lane length, and they're almost exactly the same.
Yeah, well, it's designed that way.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yes, so it's great. But Chuck, since you didn't do your intro, I kind of started it for you, and I'm gonna hand it off to you.
Do you want to show us your face, Chuck, or I was gonna say, do you want to stop your share? Or?
Yeah, stop. How do I have a new share?
I'll stop it here.
There it goes. There it goes. Okay.
All right, Chuck, do you want to give us a history of a Chuck's history in the slot car world?
It'll be short.
That's fine.
Yeah, a pox on Dewan for doing that to me, but yeah, I'm not into it quite as deep as the rest of you guys, but I'm mainly in it for nostalgia reasons, mainly Ravel stuff from a set I had and a few extras from back in the mid 60s. And it's been sitting in the attic through a couple or 3 house moves for over 45 years. And so I don't know what got into me, but a couple of years ago, I got it all down and started looking at stuff and trying to find a way to add things to it. And so I've been on eBay a lot, run into this Dewan character a couple of times. I didn't know it, that we were probably bidding against each other. And so I've been picked up a few things. I got finally tired of looking at the current available track design software pieces, because the Ravel set has a unique group of aprons that go on the inside, outside of the track, and none of these other software products took care of that. So I finally got, after trying that for about a year or so, I finally got frustrated and I said, okay, I'm just going to write my own. So back in January, I found some examples that the graphics and stuff that I wanted to do. And so I actually spent pretty much 3 months on it. And then I got it to where I liked it, or I got tired of updating it, and made it available to a couple places. And Dewan jumped on it. And fortunately he did, because he gave me some feedback, because the first couple of things that I put on there didn't work because I didn't have all the files that were needed. It's got a special framework. And when you run the framework on your design platform, it finds those files that it needs and doesn't tell you that they're not in the package. So after going and sneaking onto my wife's machine and installing it there and figuring out what I was missing, I was able to finally get something that Dewan could run and use. So, but again, it's completely Ravel based. It doesn't have anything anybody else. I think the rest of the tracks and stuff are covered, but not that one. So other than that, I've been just collecting a few things and run into one. We actually have made a couple of part swaps, and we're trying to help each other out with different things. And I appreciated his videos that he had online for the 4-lane Ravel, how to manipulate things and get stuff together. And so I've just kind of started the dialogue with him back and forth, and then he drugged me onto this, and so here I am. But like I say, I don't have a lot of experience with some things. I am making my own little
control panels that plug into the Revell terminal tracks, so that I can use all these other controllers that I've acquired, like Cox and Rustkit and Parma and some others. And so you can just connect those up one way or another. But that's about the extent of my expertise of it right now. And I'm just enjoying these other guys and the stuff that they're showing and tell. So that's pretty much it.
Well, it looks like some people are interested in that program. Where would an interested party go to get that program?
I need to figure out the link, but I'll put it in the chat, and it's just download. It's about it's got everything all in one package. It's a very redneck install. Basically, you unzip it and then run it from the directory you put it in. So the machine doesn't even know it's there, and it's easily deleted. So
good. That's the way I like it.
Yeah. So but I'll put a link on there as soon as I've got a note over here exactly where it is, and you guys want to pull it down and try it. It's Windows 7 and 10 is what I've tested it on.
Awesome.
So don't have anything else. Of course, I run Linux, but I don't have a Linux version of it running right now. So
Charles, if you're looking to build some sort of, I guess, universal connection area for your track, do a quick Google search. Revell Raceways actually had commercial products as well, and they actually used to manufacture something that would allow different types of.
They have a little adapter. Yeah, there's a little adapter plug. Matter of fact.
Yeah.
That's these guys right here, and it's not a. I mean, these plug in, and then they've got a kind of a separated there between the. Where am I? Okay, up here.
Yeah.
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 Right. They use those for the for those wonderful controllers that they sold for supposedly for commercial raceways that you could also use on the home tracks as well.
Yeah, those are okay, but I like the stuff's in the other room. But I guess maybe next week I'll do a show and tell on what the boxes are that I put together. So
yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
I've also used a couple of the what is it?
Maybe
are
you showing? Is that what Dewan is showing off?
No, I got this is a different subject. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
That's another ongoing issue for us with us Revell owners is those parts, right? Those are like gold. So there was a. You gonna tell them about the auction?
I sure am.
Yeah, go ahead and tell us about that, Dewan. What's going on?
This item right here is a half straight, and you can see that the original price on it was $1.50.
Wow.
Okay, so these things are like gold. I just started sharing another screen here. Here we go.
Yeah, I saw those bid amounts. What?
Yeah.
This auction came up on eBay this week. They had 10 of these.
Wow.
Now I've been paying between $50 to $100 per each one of these things that I've had. And I've actually found one. I got one for $5, and that same week I got another one for $100. So I've been averaging out about $50 per.
And you got the boxes too.
Well, this was an auction that just came up this week, and they had 10 of these, 7 curves and 7 half straights. And again, the original price is $1.50 each. And so I was winning this bid. You can see that they're showing you that they're all in the boxes. They don't say they're brand new, but they look really good.
That looks pretty new, Dewan.
Right, it does. It looks very, very, very good. And so I went through this as the leading bidder from out the gate at $29, all the way until 15 seconds before the end of the auction. And this is what happened in the auction.
Oh, you got
oh my God.
Holy crap, you got sniped.
Yes, I did. I put my value at $600 for it. For those 10 boxes, and somebody got it for $609 the last 15 seconds of the auction. Anyway, that's what just share that with everyone. This it was just.
So are you telling me that Charles won them then?
No, you know what? I did reach out to Charles, let him know that I was bidding on them, and that if he was interested, that I would be very willing to share with him. Because I have exactly what I need of these. I have exactly 4 straights and 4 half straights and 4 half curves is what I need for my particular layout. But this would have been that was just a gold mine, you know, just to find somebody having that in an estate sale. And to just see this thing go from, it was $63. That's what it was. 15 seconds before the end of the auction.
That's better than the stock market.
Okay. Other thing I want to point out is that Chuck was also responsible for creating some little creative clips that I was working with Greg on. He did some laser prints on some 3D laser prints of these clips to secure the Revell track together to keep them from, you know, coming apart. And so I know I was working with Greg on coming up with a better design, but he shared those with me. And yeah, that's pretty much the size of things for this week.
So all you need now is the room.
Yes. You know what I'm doing? I've been acquiring my scenery lately. So I've got a few pieces of scenery. I've had some scenery that I hadn't put together, and so I'm starting to get all those pieces while I'm waiting for the room to get built so that I can start laying everything out.
Let me check my figures and what my daughter and I have sculpted, because we may have an Aunt Harriet for you.
I have Robin sitting on the side of the track. I have Batman sitting on the side of the track. I definitely don't have an Aunt Harriet. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Anybody got anything following up for Dewan? Or are we moving on to our next show and tell? Looks like we are. Next on my list is Frank. What you got today, Frank?
Well, first a question for you. How many times a day can I send you photos of my razor?
1 entry per person. So you can send me as many photos as you want, but you're only getting 1 entry.
Okay.
Fair question, though.
Wanted to show this little gem. This is a slotted Mclaren Gtr F1. I picked this up at a race at Far Out a few weeks ago. A gentleman by the name of Tom Giese painted this and made it so pretty. And so I grabbed it because I am going to set it up for Dennis's track.
Oh.
And so it will be a angle winder, and the rear tires. Eventually I'm going to have Dennis mill the rear rims to make them air rims.
Ooh.
The foam inside.
Some foam inside them. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And the rims actually, I don't know if you can see it or not, the green goes with this car. They did not come with this car.
No, it's a different.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're off of a, the rims are off of an LMP.
The inserts anyway.
Well, the inserts are for this car, except they're supposed to be silver. So I bought them black and left them black because I like them.
Okay.
Are those the slotted rims on there?
Yeah, they're slotted rims from a Ginetta LMP. I can't get that right. Ginetta.
No.
Aren't they recessed where the ridge is in the center of the wheel?
Recessed.
They don't have an air. They don't have an air gap in the back of them.
No.
Okay.
So they're 17. They're the 17 millimeter ones, and none of the slotted 17 millimeter stuff has an air gap.
No, I'm talking about on the inside of the wheel.
Oh, that recess?
Oh, like you couldn't create an air gap without splitting the wheel.
Well, oftentimes they mill the center of the wheel out in the center of the bulge, the ridge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a lot of room left if you want to, create a U shape in there to create, put some sponge in.
There's enough. I've done it plenty.
Okay.
Oh,
because what's left there is it's a millimeter thick, the material, and so I just put in a slightly smaller depression than I would on a tire on a wheel that doesn't have that undercut. But I've done it plenty. Haven't broken one yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, cool. Keep us up to date on the progress on that.
I will do that.
All right. Thanks, Frank. And Big Den, your turn.
Morning here.
Evening.
Another part of the day over there. Last week, Henry showed his Gunsy or some brand of Thunderbird. That's the one I raced. Oh, I'll get it up so I can see it. That's the one I raced some years ago. I haven't been able to dig out the chassis yet, but it's just a few decals and a blue top instead of the white one that came with the kit.
Looks good.
And I also mentioned that I'd found a couple of the Skyliner bodies somewhere. I bought them at an auction, so all I've done so far is just have them painted up different colours. But I think, as we said last week, they'd make a pretty good, sort of tribute type early NASCAR body.
Yeah, they look really good.
Yeah, because you said I've got the chrome is a box somewhere else to eventually go on them. Unlike John Kitt, I haven't got everything within 3 feet of me. So,
Here's your presentation, Dan. You got to set up a presentation for it.
Yeah. Look, John, do you actually do a preview with people? Do it? It just makes you look good when you've got the exact things, that.
I actually have a staff of very short people right beneath you where you can't see that. Hand me everything I need.
Yeah.
Just in.
Yeah. Yeah. For Don, that's my old polysteel McLaren. The weak point on these for handling and thing was that the braids were fixed, and it was just the actual little nylon guide that swiveled around. So get anything more than about a 10-degree drift, and you lost contact a lot of the time. But they're aftermarket braids, from some aftermarket that I got them from. If to make them go, some of them actually came out with that's some breed of Ferrari.
Oh yeah, that's a polysteel as well, is it not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's polysteel. This one had the Johnson type motor in it.
312B2.
Whereas the other one had the S can. You see, obviously I've taken the exhaust detail off the bottom of that one somewhere. But I've actually, on the back of them, I've replaced the polysteel something like an 1/8 axles, which were pretty soft metal, and I'm just running like a conventional 1/8 axle, and they're just flanged rims off a flexi car or something like that with sponge tires on them.
Do you run them, Dan? Do you have some fun with them?
Oh, I haven't run them for years, John, but I did it sometime in the past. Probably more than 10 years ago, but I'm sort of get all enthused every now and then. So, when I get down to about 87 unfinished projects, I'll probably tackle those. I do have a spare body for that one, so I might try and put it on some other type of chassis.
Yeah, because the bodies aren't bad, but yeah, they don't run very well.
Yeah. They're saying earlier some of the ones that were retro things. I've got a Shadow which was marketed as Strombecker, but it's pretty, short and squat. The other thing is it's just a tell, but not a show because they're in another room at the moment. I've only got so much space within 3 feet of me here, John. I don't have a TARDIS. There's a friend who I visited yesterday gave me a whole bunch of old books like model car science from the 60s. I haven't looked through them yet, and even some of the early Australian publications. So, next time we come on, I might hold them up and say, "This is what."
Yeah, those would be great to see. Those would be great to see. Yeah.
Yeah, there were some that were just like some that were, full magazine size, and others that were just a little condensed size. But anyway, we'll tackle that next week, and somebody else can, keep the show running.
All right.
Over to you, Greg.
Thanks for sharing, Big Den. I've already gotten a couple of entries for the tire raiser contest. Let's do a little show, and I'll give you an example of what to do and what not to do. So let's go ahead and share the what to do picture first. And Frank has shared a wonderful picture of his tire raiser. This is what I would like to see coming into my mailbox. Thank you, Frank. You're definitely on the list. And then I got another entry from He Who Shall Not Be Named because they thought that it would be funny to send a picture of a razor, but that's not going to do diddly to any tires. So don't send me pictures of hair razors of any kind. But
you use those on silicone tires all the time.
I've tried. People say that. I've tried it. It hasn't worked for me, but I guess I haven't done it right.
To take the edges, to take the corners off it. Works great.
Yeah, that's what I tried it with.
I'm just glad that looked like a sink and not a tub.
And the razor itself was clean, which is appreciated. I would not have wanted to see a dirty hair razor.
I have one thing to say about Frank's photo, though.
What did he do wrong?
A clean work table is a sign of a disturbed mind.
I think that thing qualifies as a tired razor.
Yeah, that tire razor doesn't even work. It doesn't have motor leads on it.
Yeah, you guys hooked up to nothing. He obviously hadn't been just using it. He took it out and put it on the workbench and took a picture. Yeah.
But he's from California. It's solar powered, man.
So just so you know, Frank,
I do have solar power.
the sanding plate will need to be turned the other way around for use with the machine, but I'm sure you'll figure that out. Speaking of the tire razor sanding plate reciprocation machine, I kind of wanted to ask because I do plan to sell a few, if not more than just a few, but I have not determined a price. So I would like input on pricing. If you had a tire razor and you wanted to buy one of these, what do you think is a reasonable price that you would pay to get one of them? Whatever that price is, I want to hear it from you because I have a number in my head, but it might go up or down depending on what the group, what people actually say they would pay for that.
Can we see it again?
Does that include the motor?
It includes everything that you need to the only thing you would need to do is put it on your tire razor and run wires from the motor.
Okay.
Can you show a picture of it again?
Yeah, sure. Hold on.
I mean, I remember it briefly when you were prototyping it, but I don't think I've seen it since then.
Just a little bit of experience here. Focus groups never work.
Yeah. So this is what you would get from me is a completed assembled machine with the appropriate length arm based on what kind of sanding plate. Frank, yours is a shorter sanding plate, so the arm that pushes the little hitch there would be longer so that the sanding is in the appropriate place. But this is what you would get, fully assembled.
Wrong colors.
I can print it in different colors. Those were just whatever colors I picked because I had.
Why wasn't it blue and yellow?
That's my thought.
In fact, the first one that I printed was in remember the color changing that I mentioned? The orange filament turned to yellow when it was warm. But yeah, it's just the colors that they happen to be. I didn't really care to make it blue and yellow. In fact, I have gray colored PLA and PETG for the heat resistant parts so it can be all gray if somebody wants an all gray version.
You think to maximize your profit, you need to put Revell on it, put it up on an auction, and email it.
I'm not interested in maximizing profit, which is why I want you guys to be honest about what you think is a good price for this. You can either say it or put it in the chat. That's fine. But this is what you would get in the mail, ready to go, ready to put on your machine and go. Actually, let me share that back again because I wanted to mention a couple of things. Just under the hitch. Hold on. Just under the hitch here is small chamfers, basically little ramps, to make sure that the hitch doesn't get caught up or that the sanding plate doesn't get caught up as it reciprocates. It's possible that you might need to take a emery board or something to those to kind of reduce the layer stepping effect. But on my prints, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that those are minimized. But if you're printing your own, you might have to do something to smooth those out. But there's fillets there to make sure that it's not just a hard edge, but the layer lines themselves can create a hard enough edge for the plate to hit. So just a little sandpaper or emery board to make that more of a smooth ramp is a good thing. Somebody was going to ask me something.
What kind of time? I know it takes a long time to 3D print these things, I believe. I'm not too familiar, but what kind of time does it take you to then put this together with the motor and the screws and everything?
I don't want you guys to account for my labor or my printing time or my materials. I want you to think, if I see this in a store at such and such a price, that is the price that I would pay. Or I would not pay more than, or you shouldn't charge less than, kind of thing. That's the number that I want to hear.
I think everybody's right. You better put Revell on it, man.
I'm not going to put any branding on it. Ray is asking for a video, so I'll bring that up real quick while you guys are coming up with numbers here. Hold on a sec.
So you do have that part up on Thingiverse open to the public, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely free to download. The original.
I'm just making sure you knew that. I just wanted to make sure you didn't have it locked or anything.
No, I want.
If you're going to sell it, I'm saying is that, like, for me, it's not. I'm printing my own stuff back there. So,
sure.
But I mean, I would think. I'm just trying to ballpark in my head. Like, if I didn't have everything, I'm thinking like $49.99, $50. But I don't know if that's profitable for you though. But I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
it's hard to price stuff like this. I know it's
I was kind of thinking in the $50 range.
Yeah.
So, the basically by selling one, by making the stupid thing, it took more time tracking down the motors, which are not hard to find, getting the appropriate screws that fit into the motor, which are a little bit harder to find because they're like M1.6, which like nobody has in their stock of metric screws. I mean, maybe some of you slot car guys, maybe they're motor screws or something. But anyways, I didn't have any, so I had to get a pack of M1.6 screws so that to hold the motor in place. And then I had to get more M3 screws that were of the appropriate length because I didn't have enough.
You bring up a really good point though, Greg, because the easiest way to shut down a construction site is by hiding the nails, right? If you got no nails, you can't build anything.
So yeah, I mean, you can download the files. If you have access to a 3D printer, go make your own, you can get the screws and the motors off of Amazon or eBay or AliExpress or wherever you feel the desire to purchase those things from and not pay $50, obviously. By paying me $50, you're not having to do any of those things. That's basically what the $50 would be. Plus, I'd probably, for $50, I'd cover shipping in the States.
Price established, $50.
Sounds good to me.
I think that's a great price for that.
Yes. I see lots of 50s in the chat, so that's probably what I'll charge.
How much
has gone up a little further than that even, but
well, how much is a tire razor right now if you wanted to buy one?
I was gonna say I think the original retail was 150 or so, something around there.
Okay, so that's that. Then I think you're right up. You're about a third of what that thing does. Yeah, it makes sense.
Perfect. So somebody wanted to see a video, so I'll share my screen again, showing the reciprocation going. Of course, this is going at 9 volts. I'm just holding a battery to the motor while testing this particular unit. So it would go faster or slower depending on what power you got. I would, if you don't want to connect it to the same power supply and have the reciprocator going at the same speed as or same voltage as your tire razor itself, an old HO train transformer should work just fine for doing that, or whatever easily variable voltage thing you've got.
How about a Carrera controller?
I'm sure a lot of us could cobble together all kinds of simple variable voltage devices.
It kind of defeats the whole purpose of being hands-free.
Exactly.
If you're standing there.
Well, no, strap it down, but whatever. Yeah, you know.
Duct tape it to your hand. Okay.
But Greg, to the suggested voltage range to run at the optimal speed, it does change by voltage, doesn't it? The speed.
Of course, yeah, and the motor. On my Thingiverse page, I suggest getting the absolute lowest RPM at the highest voltage you can find. The motors that I got are 15 RPM at 6 volts. So that was running at 9 volts, so it was probably 75 RPM or so. So that's why it was going fairly fast. So I've seen like when I searched for the motor on Amazon, there was a seller selling a variety of RPMs at a variety of voltages on the same page. So you just click the.
I was referring to the transformer, not the motor. I was really referring to the transformer.
Okay, so rephrase the question.
The transformer voltage, or the supplied voltage to the motor, not the motor itself, but the supplied voltage to the motor. The recommended voltage for that. Is that what you?
I mean, if it depends on the motor that you get, right? So the ones that I'm supplying are 15 RPMs at 6 volts. So you'd want to give it 6 volts. Okay. But it's an electric motor, so you can go higher or lower. Obviously, higher is going to reduce the lifespan of the motor. Lower is probably going to lengthen it. But yeah, I don't want mine going that fast when I'm using
15. You keep saying 15 RPMs at 6 volts.
Correct.
Or 15,000.
15, 1, 5.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 rotations per minute. The whole purpose of that is to give that frail little motor more power through the gears, and to reduce the RPMs. Because otherwise it would be going crazy and breaking itself at anything higher than that.
Yeah, the motor itself's turning faster than that, but with all the reduction gearing, you're getting 15 revs per minute.
Correct. Yeah, I don't even know what the actual motor RPM is because it doesn't matter. It's the final output RPM that matters. I'm sure it's in the thousands, tens of thousands of RPMs for the motor. And when you look at the motor, the gear motors, there's a stack of gears that go big, small, big, small, big, small, big, small to go to reduce that gear to reduce that RPMs.
And I mean, 15 RPM means it's a 4-second stroke. So that's pretty. That sounds about right.
Yeah, it hasn't been a problem. Even when I cranked it up to, I think the transformer that I use to actually power my tire raiser, I think it goes up to 12 volts or 12 point something. And I often turn that all the way up. And the reciprocator had no problem going at full speed. But I plan to power it separately so I can have the reciprocator and the razor going at different voltages. So the question answered. Does anybody else have any questions regarding the tire raiser or the pricing or construction or building their own? Okay.
Greg, I usually chew my tires at 4 volts. Is that going to be too low? Or
no.
About
no,
right?
It'll just go slower. As long as it's moving, that's all that matters.
Gotcha.
All right, so I kind of hinted that there was something else to talk about. Yesterday, I got a couple of emails from the places that I like to get emails from, which is Google AdSense and my bank. And I got another deposit for ad revenue from my channel, which means it's time for another car giveaway contest. Yay!
Yay!
There you go, Wayne. Thank you. That's what I wanted to see. So we'll do like last time, for the next, half an hour, 45 minutes or so, you guys think about what car you would want to win or that you would want another person to have in their collection. Make, model, class, whatever, so that you can narrow it down so that we can say, okay, when you enter this contest, you are going to win as well as what they need to do to win. So like last time, a word, a keyword or string of words or hashtag or whatever we want to do. And we'll have those people put it into the comments of this video, just like last time. And just like last time, I'll, collate all those, and we'll give people a couple weeks to do that. And we'll do another giveaway in a couple weeks. So give that some thought. I've got a couple of topics I can dig up, but does anybody want to do Club Corner? Anybody got any upcoming things they want to talk about? Do an electronic hand for me so I don't have to try to catch your waving hand. I saw Mike, I saw Wayne. Frank has his electronic hand up first. Frank, what you got for Club Corner this week?
Is show and tell over?
Oh, you got a show and tell, Chris?
I do.
Let's do show and tell real quick for Chris, and then we'll do Club Corner. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay. This is a car I built a while ago, but a buddy of mine showed some interest in this, so I'm redoing it, and this is being sent out. Is that up yet?
Yep.
Oh yeah, STP.
It's it's a Lotus 56.
Yeah, Indy.
I was always a massive Graham Hill fan, and I remember seeing this car in one of the magazines as a kid, painted in that fluorescent orangey red STP color, and I almost crapped my pants, I think, at that point. So I knew I had at some point to make one of these. So I did. I got a couple more.
That was a real car that raced? It looks like a Pinewood Derby car.
No, that's the Lotus 56 from that Graham Hill drove that in 1968 in Indianapolis.
Right.
Wow.
So I did my best. I did my best to.
It was actually turbine powered.
Yeah. It was the second year of turbines.
And then banned.
Yeah. and it was all-wheel drive as well.
Yeah. But I don't know that they were banned. I think they just reduced the cross-sectional area of the air intake so far that they couldn't get enough horsepower anymore.
Well, de facto banned then.
Yeah, exactly.
One
Yeah.
more. Oh, where did my?
We see the close-up of the driver.
You got
and
that?
the mustache.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at
very nice.
This was my best iteration of Graham Hill that I could do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that the 132nd or 124th scale?
No, it's one of those. It's an AMT. It's actually a 125th.
Right.
Okay.
It's the reissue that MPC did 1 year ago, or the other way around. It's one of them.
It looked like you had Cox wheels on that.
I did. I had some Cox Lotus 40 wheels. I'm replacing those. Is that up? No?
Yeah.
Chassis.
Okay. Pretty simple single rail chassis. I did use Cox Lotus 40 wheels, and I sent a picture. I knew it anyway, but I sent a picture to Don Siegel, and he yelled at me that they were a little bit narrow and a little bit tall. So I've got a few sets of Rusket Repro wheels that I'm going to redo with some new tires and new inserts and stuff like that to make them a little less tall and a little bit wider. But
okay, Chris, I got to ask, did you paint the mustache?
Sure.
See, fantastic. You did a great job.
How else would you do that?
Awesome. Well, no, I
He
just
grew him.
remember. Yeah, that's great. That looks really good. Now, are
Did
there
the
eyes in there
mustache,
as
wear
well?
the gauges?
Nice.
Oh my goodness.
There's lots of detail there. Really good.
Oh, you even got the bumper bar on. That's awesome.
Push bar, yep.
Yep.
Anyway, that has, as soon as that gets its new wheels, it will be sent away. It's going to a new home.
Did you use urethane tires on that?
On this, yes. And on the one that's being sent out a little wider, yes, as well. This is, it's a 125th model kit, and it's really long, and the car was pretty narrow anyway. So the guide lead on this thing is massive. So it was never going to be, the hot tip for a fast slot car chassis. So I made a fairly representative chassis. It's like a single rail chassis with a floating outer pan with a little bit of a plumber hinge on the front. And just a Fox 26K motor. This is something to, I mean, it still goes around pretty really quickly and nicely, but it's not like stupid 24 scale fast stuff, right? So
this is pure art.
Really, that's really nice.
It's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Anyone else? Keep it coming, guys. Come on, I got a couple more minutes.
Yeah, so what are you going to do for yourself now? You going to build another one?
No.
Oh, you said you liked it was one of your favorite
Well,
cars.
I basically took some pictures. So now I have pictures of, and I've got so many bloody cars that, like, at a certain point in time, you're going like, what, you know, I've got stuff in the basement I'll never build. I learned.
You never have too many slot cars.
Yeah, sorry. No, I do not accept that theorem at all. Sorry, no. Sorry.
Well, I'll be, you know, I just went, I'm sitting here sort of hobbling around. I'm 5 days out of a double hip replacement.
Oh, well, that's where you've been, huh?
Yeah, we were beginning to wonder what the hell had happened to you.
Well, I'd been in for lots of tests and lots of discussions and lots of other stuff. So, but the operation happened 5 days ago.
And they did them both at once?
On the figure skating tour?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I talked to the surgeon. It was done at a private clinic. I talked to the surgeon, and, you know, basically he said, you know, you're in pain right now. You can't walk right now. Both your hips are messed up. So why don't we fix both right now? You're going to be, soon as I fix the operation, you're going to be way better off than when you started. And it's completely true. I woke up, came out of general anesthetic, and I have zero pain in my back and zero pain in my hips.
Nice.
Nice.
Wow.
That's
so how long
good.
before you get back on the ice, Chris?
Probably by Christmas time, I would think.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll be doing, I started today. I was on the bike today. So he had me on it with no restrictions, just a Peloton bike with no tension and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no, the modern method is there's no layabout, so you got to get up and move.
Just to get things moving. Anyway, This is non-slot car related, and I won't.
Well, it's more like a ball joint than a slot car, but
but I'm both. Well, good to hear you're on the mend, Chris. We'll move on back to slot car topics. Does anybody have other questions for Chris's show and tell?
Question for Chris?
Yeah.
That's gorgeous, first of all. I have an HO version, which doesn't look anywhere near as good because you just can't get it over the body or the
It's not
chassis.
going to look that good in HO no matter what you do.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm a Lotus fan too from way back. My first car was a Lotus. The question is, would you, you've got the chassis, and it would be awesome to have a cousin of that, the Formula One version. Obviously, it'd take a lot of work to do the body, but car is very similar.
I may do that. There's a few Regin 56Bs around. I may investigate getting a couple of those and doing those. Just as an aside, if you're interested in your HO car getting decals for that, the decals on that came from IndyCals.
I have them.
Oh, do you? Okay, great.
Just a real quick aside, there's not too many of these HO resin T-Jet bodies for the Lotus 56 around.
Yeah,
They don't look very good because they're just, because of the shape.
Yeah.
But I had 3 of them and I didn't need 3. I sold one on eBay. It went for about $100.
Yeah. Well, if you paint, anything in sort of that, there it is, anything in a fluorescent orangey red with IndyCals decals on it, it's going to look just fine.
Yeah, I'll get a picture for next week. I do have it. It's the decals are on it and it's painted fluorescent orange. Yep.
See, that looks more like a race car to me. I never would imagine that other one was actually on a track at any point.
Just Google, Greg, if you want, when you Google up Lotus 56, Indianapolis 1968, and you'll see that car.
Oh, I fully believe you. I'm just surprised. That's that.
There's some photos in the chat section.
There were three of them in the thing. There were three of them in that Indy 500.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. In fact, that was the car that Mike Spence perished in.
Correct.
Well, on other topics,
Can I just jump in for just a moment there?
Sure.
Share a screen.
Yep.
For Jim. Actually, I don't need to share a screen. Excuse me. I just need to turn my screen down a little. And there it is.
Yep.
There's the 56B.
B.
That's the
Is
56B.
is that resin, Dennis?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a resin one. Came from a company called Monoplace.
Where are they?
France, I think.
Okay.
I don't know if they're still even around. I've had this thing for a long time. In fact, this came from my friend Russell. Gave it to me. It makes for a pretty nice car, though. I'll find the photos of the one that I did for him.
No, did it come in gold or did you paint it?
No, it came like that. It came in the gold like that.
Wow, nice.
And then it has a set of metal etched parts and decals with it as a body kit. And then I would still have to, obviously go put your own wheels and tires and whatever else on it. Of the chassis.
Oh, Jim, you're right. It looks like the pedal car version of the car.
Yeah.
I've decaled it and painted it, but I haven't detailed it yet. But obviously in a T-jet form, it doesn't look very good, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'll just put a screen share up for a sec.
Go ahead, Gary. There we go.
Yeah, that's it. There are also pictures of Johnny Carson in it, as well as, believe it or not, Jim Clark. Jim Clark did a photo session with it before he went back to Europe to race.
Yep.
And I found my photos, so if you...
Well, the other one's oops, sorry.
That car had shorter and fatter tires than
Awesome.
what Chris Walker did.
Yeah, they were basically front and rears were about the same because it was all-wheel drive.
Yeah. So somebody, Chris, he needed to change those tires, and
Well, I was hoping to get away with using the Cox Lotus 40 wheels and the knockoffs because they're gorgeous. But I just couldn't get anything quite wide enough. So Al Penrose used to make some Lotus 40 inserts for the Rusket wheels, which I just got some from him last week. And I've got plenty of Rusket wheels, so I'll be able to make a little bit wider, a little bit less diameter wheels out of the thing. I was really set on the Cox wheels because they are gorgeous.
We'll definitely come back and share the progress on that. And it looks like we are good to go for Club Corner. So Frank, take us away.
well, Far Out, the non-mag club that I'm part of here in Southern California, is having our next race this Saturday. It'll be at Eddie Shore's Mini Bula track. We're going to be doing Group C and Racer Sideways, or slot at Group C and Racer Sideways Group 5. So I'm looking forward to that because I haven't raced for about a month. And Jim Rose is going to be coming out here in November. Those are going to be Revo slots. Class, I forget now. Revo slot and NSR F1. And what's nice about those two classes is about all you can do with those is change braid and true your tires, and they run great.
I was going to say, rather all you need to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to run on the, I guess it's a duplicate of the Mini King that's up in Santa Rosa now in a hobby shop last week. So I got a hold of Bob Scott. I'm the only person ever to run on both Mini Kings that he's built.
Ah, cool.
Awesome. Look forward to hearing about that after it's taken place. And Wayne, what's happening in your neck of the woods?
Well, I'm sorry to say I didn't get my hand up in time. It wasn't a
That's
club
okay.
corner that I wanted to do. It was a share.
That's fine.
Now, about a week ago, I got an envelope in the mail, and it contained this calendar. Now, why am I showing you a calendar from? Where is it from? Anybody know where it's from?
Hawaii.
Hawaii. And that's because a friend of mine sent me a gift from Hawaii, including the calendar and a couple of rear axles. He heard my plea on the chat more than once, more than likely, that I'd struggled to find any SCX axles with a serviceable crown gear, and he's nicely furnished me with a couple of brand new axles, and that is in the chat tonight. That's Lance. So I'd like to say a thank you very much to Lance for sending me those. It was a pleasant surprise.
Awesome. Lance, you're in Hawaii?
Is he still here?
Yeah, he's right there.
Yeah.
there.
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome. What island are you on?
I'm on Oahu.
I think I'm coming to Oahu. Yeah, that's the island with all the population, right? That's where they're all the
Honolulu, yes.
Yeah, I'm coming to Oahu. Maybe I'll have to swing by and do some slot chatting with you on one of my lame days, my sitting around doing nothing days.
Yeah, sounds good.
Is this your place, Lance?
It's off to the left.
Yeah, that's the closest I could get, but very close. I'm on your street, aren't I?
Geez, Wayne, you're doxing poor Lance here. Don't be doxing people on our live chat.
So you're at North Shore, right, Wayne?
It's a beautiful looking area. I had to walk down his street with the old Google Maps there. It looks a beautiful looking area.
Awesome.
So
Well,
Greg, now you have an excuse to pack 1 or 2 or 6 cars on your trip.
No, not gonna bring any because no. But if there's a time that we can hook up, definitely, Lance. We'll have to do some PMing. Email me or find me on Facebook or something. We'll figure out if there's a time that we can both hook up.
Oh yeah.
Let
us know. We have plenty of cars here.
Awesome.
I wanted to ask that. Do you get involved in proxies, Lance?
Yes, that's why I have those axles. The proxy cars that I sent were modified, so we had different rear axle and tires and wheels.
And that's what freed those up.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate those very much because I've got to use stock. I've got to use stock equipment, and they'll give me the opportunity to play around and try and get some N22 tires fitted on there in a way that they actually look like a tire. And that will give the car too much grip. And I have seen another car doing the rollover thing. So once that's in, I'll have to play around to try to stop that. If that works, then I'll probably be a little bit quicker than I am on the stock tires. And you've even furnished me with more stock tires too. So if it all fails, I can rewind the whole thing. But yeah, thank you very much for that, my friend. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Wayne, don't feel. I mean, if you need any more SCX stuff, just reach out to me. I have a whole bunch of it. So.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Awesome, love it. All right, Michael, it's your turn. What happened with your club?
Well, let's see. Well, I'm not muted.
You're not muted. Go ahead.
Monday we tried something different. I had 3 Group C cars set up that were pretty equal, and we did 5-minute heats a la analog style. But every heat you did a different car, and the winner was the one with the most laps at the end. And it was pretty interesting and pretty hard fought. But you really had to pay attention to your race, and especially with a 5-minute race, the pit stops were key. Cost me a half a lap loss. So it was pretty interesting. I got someone on the forum had done that, and I have to figure out how to set up a series race on RCS. I haven't done that yet, but I tried it out just manually, and it worked really well. It was really fun. So I'm going to figure out this series, and we're going to do it as a regular portion of our group. And
Michael, was it you that posted on Slot Forum that they'd done that very thing? Hit the series button and discovered that RCS 64 does series very, very easily, very, very well, and very intuitively.
Well, that's what gave me the idea.
Yeah, you saw the same post. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and it works great. It was a lot of fun. It was like I say, it was hard fought, and very close. And this week, all of the three of us won a race. So that's how close the racing is getting.
That's awesome.
It's really fun.
I mean, need to get some more guys in there, so you've got
that's it.
4 or 5 or 6 guys on the track instead of 3. Maybe someday in the future. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Mike.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah, never know. Hold out hope. I got my virtual hand up because on Monday we talked about it's the beginning of this series. So we voted on the car that will be the car that we race in the following series in a couple months here, and there were 2 nominations. One of them not mine. One of the other guys nominated the Pioneer Legends, and that's what the group ended up deciding to race. So I'll be doing a little bit more work on my Pioneer Legend. I did already get a couple of spare guides. The guy who nominated the Pioneer Legends just put tape around the stock guide to reduce the slop, and it seemed to have a pretty beneficial effect. So I might try that first. But he did put some weight into he stripped out the wiring harness basically and just did straight wire from the guide to the motor, and then dropped like 10 grams or something like that into where the chip door is, and he liked it. But basically that's what the spec is stock, fix things up, true and glue all around, and that's what we're gonna race. So that will be interesting. As you guys who have Legends know, they're quick, short, little cars, but very wide. And because all of their wheels are exposed, they race like Indy cars and F1 cars, open wheel racing. So you touch tires and somebody's going in the air pretty much. So that should be a hoot and a holler. And I will definitely talk about that when we do that racing.
Do you have enough blue and yellow cars? Or?
I have those. Oh, and speaking of blue and yellow cars, thank you for the memory trigger. Remember that picture that I shared when I talked about all the number of blue and yellow cars? Well, apparently I forgot to put one of my blue and yellow cars into that picture. So I've already surpassed the magic 69 number. So I have 70 cars. So oh well, I'll never worry about the number of cars again. But yeah, I'm not going to take that photo. I'm not going to retake that photo until I have a few more to add than just a single blue and yellow car. But I've got 2 of those Pioneer Legends in blue and yellow, so maybe I'll do them differently and see which one I like better, or just do them the same and see which one actually runs better, or whatever the case may be. All right, Jeremy, what you got for us today?
So we have a track in Iowa, Newton, Iowa. It's a motor speedway, but about 10 minutes from there, Power Motorsports shop. The guys in the back created their own slot car racing club. I just found out about it from our local club, and then I told Kelly about it because he's on the other side of the state. I'm trying to get him to one of our races, but I thought maybe this way we can kind of meet in the middle because these guys are racing a lot of the same stuff we do. I just found that kind of interesting. It's weird. These clubs just popped up and they just happen to have a Facebook post out there, and one of the guys in our club seen it. It's like they're racing in the shadows, but now at least we found them. So
awesome. Yeah. Well, that's cool. Hopefully we hear more about that, and hopefully you guys get to race together. That would be super cool.
Is that what you were looking for an out of the box car for, Jeremy?
No, that's to punish my club that I'm currently in. Okay. Speaking of which, we raced last Sunday. Their Trans Am rules are dominated by it's stock brand, and its Scale Electric is dominating. So just for fun, I brought SRC Porsche 914 to the event, and now they're willing to talk about the rules. So that was kind of wonderful. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So I'm making progress. They're going to update these rules a little.
Yeah, I had a feeling that if you brought something hot.
Oh my God. I had like 3 laps on everybody. Then it was time to talk. And it was box stock. I didn't touch the car at all. And now they're willing to look at the rules.
Was that the GT? That was the GT car you were asking
No,
about? Another
no, I
Ford?
still need a GT car because we also do the same thing in a GT race. So I just need something I can throw down the track and just crush people.
Do the same thing. Yeah. Does the Mosler qualify like people are asking or suggesting?
It does. There's Moslers, a couple of Moslers in there, but they're not dominating in the race yet. They're very slippery on the tracks we race on. I don't know why. They slide around a lot. In fact, the slotted cars are dominating right now, like the slotted GT cars.
If you were gonna, is this a wood track or a plastic track?
It's 2 wood tracks we have. Yeah.
If for a wood track, I would definitely not get a Mosler with a lawn can in it. Get the Mosler with the Sidewinder pod and the normal S can. For anything you're going to run on wood, because the motor weighs 12 grams less and acts like a lot less of a pendulum flap in the back end around. The lawn cans are great on plastic track. You don't see too many of them occupying the top spots in any proxy on a wood track.
All right. I will keep that in mind.
Awesome. Anything else, Jeremy?
No, Charles, thank you for that program. I have 2 Revell tracks also in our club that will really use that. Thank you.
Good deal. All right. Gazza's got his hands up. What's going on in your neck of the woods, Gazza?
No, I'm trying to find a photograph. I can't find it.
Oh, no. Well, we'll leave your hand up. If you find the photograph, go ahead and just share it.
Yep. Basically, it was to do with the legends that when I made a plain kit up, and while I was painting and all that, and I was putting on the chassis and had to straighten it because the chassis was bent as usual. So I was just thinking what else could go on there. So I thought I've got a couple of other cars there. So what I've done is I shrunk down an existing sedan that used to race in the 80s over here. Like, yeah, you can do Mustangs and everything else, but I tried one of the Falcons and all that and just put flared guards on it and turned it into this, fits exactly straight on the chassis and everything else. So it's something, they used to race that same class here, the Legend class, but they originally it was in the Dodgers and Fords and Chevs and all that. And then they went over to what was racing in the V8s over here in the sedans and all that. So they had Falcons and Commodores and all that in the fiberglass body on the top of it. And that just for the local sort of flair. But yeah.
And then I was gonna say, didn't you post that up on Oslot or something, or?
Yeah, I put that on Oslot, and I actually the mod that I did. Yeah, I can't find the photo of it.
But you could go to your thread and share the browser if you want to. But in the meantime, what do you got to share, Big Dan?
Just quickly, Gazza, I saw that some of our legends down here, they actually ran with the early model FJ bodies, FJ Holden bodies from back in the 50s, early 50s, with the fiberglass bodies. But I just wanted to quickly go back to the Lotus 56s. It won't take a minute. Where are we? Oh. Yeah, there's one. The gold and black car was run by Emerson Fittipaldi, I believe. Now it ran. You can see on the picture on the left, it sort of had a full. Oh, sorry, on the right, it had full wings. With the abbreviated wings and lack of front wing, that was when they ran it at Monza.
Yes.
And so it didn't. Because of the high downforce of the track, naturally they didn't need the wings. And I think even one of the early March, the one with the T-tray wing, the little boomerang wing on the front. Was it March 711 or 721 or something like that? And they actually removed the front wing of that. I think Ronnie Peterson ran without a front wing on it at Monza because of the natural high downforce. But I think what killed it off eventually is not so much that it was banned, but it just wasn't successful. So they didn't persist with it, with the turbines.
Yeah, and I, from what I understand, to your point, Fittipaldi did not like driving it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he had a pretty close.
Did ban the four-wheel drive after that because of that car, partially because of that car?
May well have done, I don't know.
Well, they ran four-wheel drives the following year because that was 68, right?
These were 71 apparently.
It was 71.
Oh yeah, they were.
Yeah.
No, that was just Colin Chapman trying to go back and make something that he'd already had in the garage work again.
And that was the reason that they painted it in that weird color, right? Because they didn't enter it as a Lotus. It was entered under some other name in those colors.
Okay.
Because of the crash, Jochen Rindt crash at Monza the year before. And there was still talk that the Italian police wanted to impound any Lotus cars and investigate his death.
Yeah, because to your point, Dennis, I think the lawsuit was still pending.
The lawsuit was still pending at the time, which is why they changed the colors and entered as, I don't remember the name now, but it was like International Racing Engineers or something, some crazy name.
Worldwide Racing. I pulled it up on the internet.
Was what?
Worldwide Racing.
Worldwide Racing, that's right. Yeah.
All right, Lance, you've got your electronic hand up. What's going on in your neck of the woods?
So I'm wondering about, can you have too much rubber on your track? We've got a wood track, latex painted, and I'm wondering, when we enter proxy cars, they are really tail happy at other racetracks, and that doesn't show on our track. And I'm wondering, can there be too much rubber on it?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say the other tracks probably have been using a mixture of other tire types that are not conducive to optimal grip levels over time. Like there's two tracks in the Analog Club, both constructed by the same track builder, so same paint and everything. One of the track owners, half the time we go and race at his track, his IROC cars have silicone tires on them, and most of the time we're running, NSR rubber or slotted rubber or Scalato rubber. Those cars don't have as much traction on his track. The other track, I know for sure the owner would never allow silicones to hit the track, and the cars are just hooked up on that track. So my opinion is that there's no such thing as too much rubber, and if your cars are slipping and sliding, it's probably because those tracks don't have optimum grip levels for whatever tires you're using.
I've got some input on this subject.
Yes, Wayne.
It's Club Corner-ish.
Yeah.
Because this, I've not shared my screen. This last Friday, my club was forced to cancel last minute. Too many isolations was the phrase. And this was a working party that turned up and did some cleaning, antibacterial everywhere. And then they took to the track. And this was the result. They cleaned up all the black lines that were prevalent around the lanes. And the words that surrounded this new photograph are that the track has improved in grip significantly because they've taken away the rubber. So I don't know what the paint is, but you have seen this track before. In fact, you've seen this track in very, very close up, because it was close enough that I think it was Chris identified that the paint depth is about the same as the copper tape, indicating that it had probably been repainted a few times. Well, you can actually see some of that in this corner here. Look, there's been a couple of patch repairs done there, and they've come up to the surface because they've taken up the old rubber, which has apparently caused a lot of smiling faces. If you look back there's some peculiar contestants. But yes, so I don't know exactly what the pace has turned into, because no one's actually raced on it yet. But these guys reported an increase in grip when they removed the rubber.
What kind of rubber do they normally run on that track?
Well, we have a stock tire, so you can run what came on a car in a category. We only have 5 categories. Most of those are Scalextric, so a lot of the tires that do get run are Scalextric stock rubber, or in the case of the DTM, it's the SCX stock rubber. And the alternative tire that anyone can choose to use is a slotted N22. And that is grippier than most of the stock tires. So most people are running N22 most of the time.
And
of course,
most of the guys are treating their tires, Wayne?
yes, it's nearly always oils and lighter fluids and combinations of.
That's sort of, I mean, any track that's been around a long time, especially if you're running modern day, what we call rubber tires, as opposed to silicone and urethane, and you're using oil on them, you're building up a layer of oil, which attracts dust, which attracts gunk, and then we put more oil on it. So after a certain period of time, you're not really running on anything other than an eighth of an inch of oil stuff on the track. So after a certain period of time, the tracks really do well when they're stripped down. Now, if you're running on silicone tires or urethane tires, that's much less prevalent because you're not putting anything on the track. You know, spray glue tracks that run sponge tires, and we walk around with a big aerosol bottle and spray glue onto the track. Got to clean them fairly frequently because everything just gunks up.
Well, our what did you remind me? We never run anything other than those two or three types of rubber tire. I forgot what I was going to go on to say. It was what you just said to me, Chris. Something about what you just said to me. I'm sorry. Carry on the conversation. I've lost it.
Well, good time to just go ahead and bring back up the contest. So the car for the win a car contest number 2. Does anybody have any suggestions or nominations? We'll call them for what car brand or class or specific car. Michael, what did you want to nominate? I'll ask you to unmute.
The blue and yellow Revo slot in tribute to you.
Oh, the F40 that I just got?
Not the F40, the Blue Coral GT1, the Porsche GT1.
Speaking
we
of,
did a Revo slot last time, right?
We did do a Revo slot last time, so I was thinking maybe not Revo slot.
I put one in the chat, and I think it's one we actually discussed last time, and it was I think it was discussed. It was the NSR 908.
Yeah.
Porsche 908.
Yeah.
Speaking, Michael mentioning the Porsche GT1, my Mr. Slot Car Porsche GT1 is just hooked up, and it was pulling feet on everybody. They're like, "What did Greg do to that car?"
That might be another good one. It's one of those MR slot car, either the GT1 or the McLaren, but perhaps the GT1.
Yeah. I'm putting that in my little list here.
Well, you see, I'd quite like to win an NSR 908.
Okay.
Okay, good for you, Wayne. Any other suggestions? I think those are
it, don't you? You get it, don't you?
I think those are good suggestions. Let's go ahead and vote on those 3 suggestions. So this time I want to, you can use electronic hands, would probably be helpful for the people without cameras. If you want the next contest car to be the Revo slot, Blue Coral Porsche 911 GT1, raise your electronic hand. I'll do a quick count. Give everybody a minute to raise their electronic hands. Again, you are voting in favor of having the next contest car be a Revo slot Porsche 911 GT1 Blue Coral. All right, I got 6 hands so far.
You're going far, Greg.
What's that?
You're not going far on that one.
No, it looks like I'm running out of people putting hands up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So next one, go ahead and leave your hand up or raise your or lower your hand if you don't want to vote for it. You're now putting your hand up for the NSR Porsche 908 as nominated by Wayne. If you want to win or have somebody else win an NSR Porsche 908, now is the time to have your electronic hand up. We've already got more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, this list thing. Let me change my list here. There we go. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's 7.
7. Yep. All right. So now you're going to raise or lower your hand in favor or not in favor of a Mr. Slot Car Porsche GT1 Porsche 911 GT1 Evo.
Yeah, I think that's what Jeremy wants to win next.
Yeah, that I'm not even going to count those. I already know it's more. So
yeah,
all the handsome people are voting for this car.
Yeah. So hands down winner. The next contest car is a MR slot car, or as I say, Mr. Slot Car, Porsche 911 GT1 Evo, and the winner will be able to choose between a white kit or one of the colored ones.
Sorry, Wayne, we tried.
And again,
never mind.
This will ship worldwide. If you don't have an MR slot car, Wayne, obviously enter the contest. They're great cars. Next question is, what shall we have the entries do in order to qualify for their entry? They must have a keyword, hashtag, or
Can I ask
phrase.
a question?
Go ahead,
this
Jeremy.
a contest to try to get more viewers to this show? Is it like going out to everybody, or is it just amongst us?
It's amongst us. It's amongst viewers, right? So you can promote the contest to people if you want. This is me giving back. I never did this for money, and this is money that is more or less generated by revenue from the Worldwide Slot Car Chat.
Why don't we tie it into your product and just use the word razor?
Sure. Use the word razor in the comment. Note that is not how you enter the Tire Razor sanding plate reciprocation machine contest. Again, that is entered by sending a picture of your Tire Razor to my email, which is ggaub@ggaub.com. If you put the word razor in your comment in the comments of this video on YouTube, I'm not going to do comments in other places. You've got to comment in the YouTube video comments. Just putting the word razor is lame, so try to work that into your comment.
I was going to say, this should be really creative.
You get as creative as you want. Last time, people were super creative, and I loved it. There are lots of funny comments that included the keyword and phrase. Do your worst or best. Keep it PG, preferably, but make sure the word razor, RAZOR, is in your comment, and we'll give it a couple weeks again, and then in a couple weeks we'll determine a winner, and I will ship a MR slot car Porsche 911 GT1 Evo to you wherever you are in the world at my expense. That's all there is to it. Like I said to Jeremy, this is just because I don't need this money. The people who
I was just thinking, like, if you put like a question from a previous video, then you get new viewers to come back and watch it. Like, what did the guy with the Revell track, what did he use to clean his Revell track? And then somebody had to go back and watch the whole video, and then they go, oh, okay.
And if I wasn't hearing from so many people saying, oh, I went back and started from the beginning and I'm still catching up, then I would do that. But so many people are literally just going back and they're just binging on the chat from the first one until now. So have fun, you guys. By doing that, you are generating ad revenue, which makes this contest happen.
Oh yeah, but with the length involved, that's beyond binge watching. That's awesome.
It's dedication. It's very much dedication, which all of us appreciate. But for the guys that are doing that, I mean, I watch it because I love to hear my own voice. But for the guys that are doing that, it's because there's so much information in these videos. I mean, I'm learning something new every week. Every comment, pretty much every comment is, thank you so much for these videos. Thank you guys for teaching me. I'm learning something new. I love it. It's basically like a video version of a forum or a Facebook group or whatever like that. That's basically what this has become, and I'm loving it. And I love giving back to the people who are making this happen. So,
and those viewers that watch on YouTube, they only need to search the World Wide Web for Worldwide Slot Car Chat and find a post, of which there are many, and then come along and join us.
Absolutely, Wayne, and that's what I said in my latest video on my channel.
Exactly. So
Sorry, I didn't watch it yet.
As Wayne said, as John has said, as Dennis was probably about to say, if you want to join us, please join us. Google search for Worldwide Slot Car Chat on Zoom. Ignore the video results. You'll almost definitely find one of the invitations that are posted at the beginning of each week for the coming meeting, and then join in. We alternate between an early afternoon show and a late afternoon / evening show for various people around the world to find it more convenient to join. So hopefully you can join at least one of those. Yeah, Gaza, various people down under are joining on this show because it's the later one, and crazy people like Wayne are joining anyways, even though it's the middle of the night for him.
I just want to say though, at least Wayne read the script. Thank you for that segue. That was
Good
awesome.
job. I'll send you that $5 later.
The best part about it, Greg, is you have so much knowledge and so much experience from everybody that contributes, and it's no lack of sharing techniques, how to build, the true. For someone who's a beginner like me, it's just so much to take in. And I look forward to the meetings. I wish that the 1 o'clock one was a little bit later so I wouldn't be at work to have to do it. I find myself trying to listen and be at work, but I miss so much and I have to go back and watch. But it's so awesome. And I just want to thank all of you guys for all your input and all your insight on this hobby that people say it's dying, but it's not dying. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere, especially with experienced people like yourselves. So thank you so much for all your input.
And on behalf of the people smarter than me, you're very welcome. And that's why we're here, is to share that information with the people who want that information. Michael's got his hands up, and then we'll get to Neil. What you got, Mike?
I didn't take it down.
That's okay. Neil, did you forget to take yours down, or do you got something you want to talk about or ask about or share?
No, I just wanted to reiterate what Kelly had said. When I first joined this group, I learned so much, and it's since I don't do any club racing, or I don't have any other friends that are into slot cars. This is by far the thing I look forward to the most. So I just enjoy everybody's knowledge.
There was that guy that commented that he is like near to you in New Jersey. Did you ever?
I've been trying to contact him, but I've had no luck so far. But I'm going to keep trying.
Okay, well, New Jersey guy, comment on this video and like send me your contact information. If you don't want to put your email out on the internet, that's fine. New Jersey guy, send an email to me, ggaub@ggaub.com, if you haven't heard it the 50th time already, and I will hook you up with Neil somehow. Neil, do the same. Send me an email so I have your contact information outside of the chat, and we'll make sure that if he contacts me, then we'll get you guys racing together at some point when you both feel safe enough to race together, whatever the case may be. And before we end the show, I wanted to do another reminder on the contest, because if you've watched this long, you deserve to enter these contests. Contest number 1, a Tire Razor sanding plate reciprocation machine built completely and ready to run from me, free of charge, shipped around the world. All you got to do is send me a picture of your Tire Razor, not one of the other machines, but your Tire Razor, to ggaub@ggaub.com. And the MR Slot Car Porsche 911 GT1 Evo car, worldwide, no charge to you. All you got to do is put a comment, be clever, be creative, but your comment must include the word razor. Remember, you're not winning a Tire Razor or anything razor related. You're winning an MR Slot car with the word razor in your comment of this video down below. Please do that now before you forget. We've got 5 more minutes. Anybody else got any last minute questions, comments, anything they want? What do you got, Mike?
I was going to ask you, I don't know if you saw my comments on the chips that I had, that I had problems with on the forum. But what happened is that I was not able to communicate with my slotted Type C chip because apparently the app that's on Android, when it was updated,
okay,
would disable the app that was on there. so I can't communicate there. And I've using the earlier app, the 1.4 portion of it, looks like I screwed up the chips because I can't communicate at all. So I was going to ask you, you mentioned that there were some phones that use Android that are capable of working the chips. Do you have any ideas? I mean,
I can't give you a specific model number, but pretty much any phone or Android-based device manufactured within the last few years that isn't specifically a budget device because they intentionally hobble the hardware and operating system to not do things like that because they're jerks. Even though literally the hardware is in there, but they say, no, you're not allowed to have it because you only paid $20 for this pay-as-you-go phone rather than $600 for the exact same hardware as a contract phone. Anyways, yeah, if you can't just go get a new phone, like you're not ready to upgrade your cell phone, beg, borrow, from a friend or neighbor or something. Pretty much anything within the last few years is gonna be able to run it.
Well, the problem is that what I have is a Galaxy Tab E that has Android.
Yeah, but the Android operating, first of all, check to see if the Android operating system of the Galaxy Tab has an update available. Sometimes you have to go to the system, go to the settings, go to check for updates, and actually tell it to check for updates to the operating system itself.
Yeah.
If there's an available update, absolutely do that, because then you might be able to get the latest app.
The problem is that the latest update is what disabled the app that's already on the tablet.
Oh, okay. And that update is not compatible with the latest version of the app.
Right.
You didn't email me, did you? Because I had another guy saying.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so so literally hardware companies do that on purpose because they want you to buy new hardware. My brother was in the software, and he still is in the software industry, but the hardware and software industry is in cahoots to make sure that you're always having to upgrade your hardware and software.
So this is for iPad, right?
All of it.
No, I've got iOS, and iOS won't communicate with the chip that's on the car. It's already read both chips. I managed to register the chips with the iPad. So that's done. But I can't get the SSD software onto it to run the car.
Yeah.
We'll
talk about this more. We've only got a couple more minutes for the recording, but we'll definitely keep talking about it. Dewan and Dennis have their hands up. What did you want to say real quick, Dewan?
Oh, I was just going to comment on someone on one of the forums talked about real cars and slot car versions of the real cars that you once had, and I have to point out that Harry posted up the truck, the 1960 Chevy, which is a car that my dad had, and I really I got to do that. He took a model of a 1960 Chevy pickup and converted it into a slot car, and just for nostalgic purposes, I need to have it as one of my shelf cars, and I want to do literally all my cars that I've had. I want to do that too. My convertible, my Z28, even my old LeBaron. So yeah.
Sounds like you're setting yourself up, sir, for some projects.
Yes, I am. I'm trying to get out to some of these experts out here in the world. Another thing I was going to I know we only have another minute, but what I'm doing, I've also decided to kind of pick up, I picked up a lot of track and stuff like that. And I'm going to be sending out track to friends and things like that, just kind of as a teaser to get them involved into the thing. I'm just going to send them little small systems just to kind of introduce them to it, and send them some older cars and stuff like that, and have them just think of that. So
awesome.
That's what I've been doing. Yeah.
Good idea. Promote the hobby. What about you, Dennis?
I had two things. A technical question for you and maybe anybody else, because I'm not really very knowledgeable about the digital stuff. Every now and then, when I have to put in a digital chip into a car, either using an SP15 or something, or an SP43 or some others, the best installation is when I have a loose, a wired LED for the sensor bulb, right? Now I've been using I think it's an SP32 or something, that slotted cell, but they're just not available right now. So does anybody know what the specification is of the LED that I can use? It's a 3mm LED, but I need to know maybe what the wavelength of that thing is, because it's infrared, right?
Yeah, it's infrared. I don't know what the optimum wavelength is off the top of my head. Is Geo still on, or did he?
No, Geo's gone a long time back.
Okay. It's out there. Yeah, I've never memorized the nanometer, the optimum nanometer.
All right.
So what was the other? Does anybody know?
The other thing was just to say to Neil. Neil was saying he doesn't know anybody that's into slot cars, and that was before he joined the chat. Now he knows like 30 people that are into slot cars.
Yeah, but near him.
Oh yeah, I know that. But I mean, and that's the great part about this, right? By the time we ever get to meet each other in person, we'll be friends. We'll know each other, right? You'll be able to pick it up like that with somebody that's
I
out there.
can't wait for each and every one of you to tell me just to be quiet.
Oh,
shut up, John! Jesus.
We'll do that. We do
that every week.
We'll do the Biden thing. Will you shut up, man?
You shut up, man. And on that bombshell, we're going to go ahead and hit the stop button. As always, come to a live show. And for now, we'll wave goodbye.
See you guys.